All right, everybody, can I get a drum roll, please? Ladies, are you an entrepreneur that is overwhelmed? You need to get out of one-to-one and hours for dollars. Has your messaging become boring or vanilla? Do you need to build a team? Do you need to have a more clear message to start up-leveling your game and attracting the right clients? Let's get honest. Do you need to get your shit together with your systems and your structure? Do you need to go from a solopreneur to an entrepreneur and hire a team and have help? Do you need to boss up? Do you need to quit treating your business like a hobby, for gosh sakes? Do you want to learn how to make a passive and leveraged income? And quite honestly, who wouldn't want this? But would you like to make more money and work less? If the answer to any of those was hell yes, then you need to get your butt to the once a year Front Seat Life event. It is streamlined, up-leveled, less hoopla, more connection, and it is in the gorgeous downtown Seattle in beautiful September here in Seattle at the Sheraton Grand, September 19th, 20th, and 21st. Thursday night, we're having a party. Friday, I am going to just give every single bit of content to you. No fluff, no bullshit, no hoopla. Just all amazing content and connection and just high level. And then Saturday, we will meet for a half a day. You get to connect with high-level entrepreneurs. You get to be where the action is at. So you might meet somebody in that room that is going to change your life. Get your butt there. Tickets are ridiculously inexpensive. Grab a friend. Get yourself here. The room rates are fantastic. You are not going to regret this. I know what you're thinking. I may not be qualified. I don't need this. Let me tell you, 1 year from now, you're going to be in the exact same stuck spot in your job if you don't make this decision now. It is affordable. It's enough days for you to get away. Tell your spouse, tell whoever's in your life, I am going to go do this for myself so that I can finally start taking my business seriously. That's it, friends. Get yourself there. The link to come join us in Seattle is in the show notes, or go over to jessicabutts.com. A pop-up will pop up. It will be the simplest thing you've ever done. There's no digging. You don't have to find it. Go to jessicabutts.com, get yourself enrolled. And I cannot wait to hug you and see you and talk directly to you. It's a small, intimate group, and we will be able to connect, and it will be the best decision you've made in your business in a very, very, very long time, or ever. See you there. Okay, everybody, welcome back. We are on stage 5. So it's funny. It's been a busy day here up in Front Seat Life. I got the yard work people here. I was just seeing somebody else to do a podcast, and you're here, and we're talking about all the stuff. But As everyone knows, this is the Front Seat Life Girl Boss Success Path is what we're doing. So everybody that I'm actually interviewing is in my Lady Boss because they've already graduated. So when I was putting together this success path of people that have really been an exemplary, ideal client avatar, as I've taught you as well, the client avatar, you are this person for this stage. So everyone knows we are doing 8 stages, and be unapologetically who you are, which is always my work. You got to understand your personality type, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit with hiring, about who you needed to hire.
Yeah.
The shift, which is the going from squirrel to structure. Your mess is your message, which, you know, I had Nadia on for that, and it was absolutely incredible. Showing up. So Dana and I talked a lot about showing up. That was actually just last week. This week is running smoothly. Next week will be, let's make some money, honey. My second favorite F word, funnel with Emmy. Stage 7 is this connection versus transaction. And then Sherry is joining me be on stage 8 for the long game. So this is getting your money in order, not treating it like a hobby, but really, really treating it with CEO mentality and a long-term business strategy. But today is all about Miss Melinda. So welcome, Melinda Slater. Tell us a tiny bit about you and how we met and what you do.
Okay, so I am Melinda Slater. I own Slater Interiors, so I do interior design. And I met Jessica. A friend of mine actually was going to go to the Front Seat Life event last year, and then she had to bail. And so I still went because it sounded really intriguing, and I got to the heart of the matter of business because, you know, as we all know, when we go into business, yes, I love doing design, but I also have a business to run. And so it's hard, and it's hard to do it by yourself. And, you know, the one thing that you learn early on is that you can't do it all. Yeah. You cannot be everything in your business, and you have to figure out where you lack, what you are not good at, and what needs to be given away. And that's a process. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard, and it's hard to do that.
Welcome to the Front Seat Life podcast. This is Jessica Butts, your host and CEO and creator of Front Seat Life, where I help you be unapologetically who you are in your life, love, and business. I love that that's how we met at the Front Seat Life event. And so the Front Seat Life event is coming up. You know, this is a shameless plug for that. There's a girl boss event coming up and a lady boss event coming up. But that really is, I think, the core of how I meet most people is they come to this event and then we end up working together. Yeah. And you just said something I think that's really powerful is that your craft is you're an interior designer. Yeah. Your job is not to do what I do. Your job is not to find out all the tools, figure out the ideal client avatars, the success paths, the website design, the hiring, the personality type, all of that stuff. Like that's why you hired me so that you could be better at your craft and more streamlined and run more smoothly.
Yes. And get my ideal clients.
Yes.
And because that's the whole goal. And you can't do that without a successful business, you know, running behind the show.
Yeah.
You know, they say, for me, I say that interior design is about 20% designing and about 80% doing the work.
Wow.
And that's, you know, behind the scenes, doing a little bit of design, you know, the paperwork for design. It's not all about creativity. And that's what people think when they go into design.
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to be super creative and it's going to be fun. And it is.
Yeah.
And it also has the business part of it, especially if you're running a business yourself, is like you have to be good at business. And that's the one thing that I've kind of learned in working with you, Jessica, and learning about your Myers-Briggs number or letters, in that you have to know what you're successful at and what you're really good at doing, and then knowing when to let go. Mm-hmm. And that's the hard part.
Yeah, you just said so many powerful things. And then I want to go back to your personality type and what you've learned from me about what you're good at, what you're not good at, and who you had to hire. Mm-hmm. But you just said something really powerful about that 80-20 rule. And I think this is, I actually think this is the biggest downfall of entrepreneurship in general. And myself, for example, so I was taught how to become a psychotherapist. So I went to school, I went to graduate school, obviously, and you went to some design school or something, and you learn your craft. Or I think about Lisa Fisher, who is a stylist, or Emmy, who is an eating coach. And we learn our craft, yet no one teaches us how to run a business. Mm-hmm. And most of us entrepreneurs are intuitive types. So we also have this big picture and creative, and we want to do all the fun stuff. And yet, again, when we're expected to run a business, there's this, I think, a holy shit moment of like, oh, wait, what? What's a list? How do I get clients? What about marketing? I don't understand what you're talking about. And website and SEO and social media marketing. And I think it's that deer in headlight moment when you just go, oh, dang it. I can't do my craft because I can't get my message out there.
That's right.
And how annoying is that?
Well, yeah, exactly. And, you know, for me, I kind of have that middle of left brain, right brain situation is in that I love the business side of it. There's something about it that I like, and there's some things about it that I absolutely hate. Mm-hmm. So, it's getting to that of like, what do I really like doing? Whether it's the creative side, but also in the business side, there's certain aspects that I like doing. And then there are aspects that I know I need to hire somebody else because they're the expert at it. Just as clients hire me because I am the expert at space planning and interior design and creating that beautiful space. They hire me for that because they can't do it themselves.
High five.
Yeah. So,
high five.
So in business, you have to also be willing to hire the expert.
And okay. Ooh, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
How many years did you waste trying to do it all?
Well, let's see. I've been in my own business now for 9 years, but I had a business prior to that. And the one thing I knew when I started this business as interior design, I used to be a massage therapist. And when I started this business, I knew that I had to make it all on my own, that I never wanted to rely on our personal income or my personal income to kind of feed the business.
Awesome.
And so I knew that when in my previous career that I didn't do any marketing. I tried to do my own advertising, my own graphic design for the advertising. When I look back on it, I'm like, oh my God, that was sad.
It's just too hard.
But I realized all the things that I didn't do. And of course, back then, and it wasn't that many years ago, but like networking was not a big thing.
Yeah.
Getting yourself out there and putting yourself in front of a group of people and pounding the pavement, it just wasn't popular.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more and more popular. Coaches,
and
life coaches,
essential.
business coach.
And essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's why I'm here talking to you now.
Yeah.
Because it has been successful because of that.
Awesome.
And so I think I just learned this year in 2019, after being in business for 9 years, that I had to let go.
Yeah.
And that's scary. It's scary, but it's super powerful.
And so critically important. And I say this every single episode. At some point during the podcast, I'm in the listener's position. And right now is that moment. Because I know that there's a lot of different people at different levels of their business. There's people that are just starting out in my girl boss group. And then there's lady bosses like you who know how to run a business. And I know very quickly which group that you're in. And you probably listening know the same. Mm-hmm. And that when you're first starting out, that is everybody's mindset, is that I've got to do it all myself. And I would say, and I think you would concur, is there's steps involved of who you hire when, but one of the biggest secrets is letting go earlier.
Absolutely. And I did not. I'm in a mastermind group with 2 other designers, one in Colorado and one in New Jersey. And they both have employees, or at least have subcontractors working for them and helping them. And they've always been telling me, Melinda, you have got to hire some people. You got to hire somebody. I'm like, I don't want to hire anybody. I don't want anybody in my office because I like my own space. I don't want to train anybody. I'm not a good manager. I went through all of those feelings and saying and resisting. And then I finally, and I think I was a little bit resisting growing on some level. Like there was that
and that's
fear.
Mindset stuff, for sure.
Fear and like, do I really want to grow? And how big do I want to grow? And what is growth? It doesn't mean I have to have 5 employees. So what does that mean for me? And so I think this group that, the Lady Boss group that I'm in and the quarterly meetings that we have with other like-minded business women is super powerful. Super powerful.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about that on next week's episode with Emmy. We were saying the power of having people further along than you are that continue to push you. And that we are truly, truly meant, I think, to go to new levels. Mm-hmm. And I have had that feeling of where you get to one level and then you get there and you're like, okay, wow, I'm grateful that I'm making the money that I'm making, or I'm doing whatever, yet I'm either exhausted, I'm resentful, I'm out of time, I can't make any more money. And we have to learn how to leverage. We have to learn how to hire people. We have to learn systems and structures and CRMs and all of the tools to help things run more smoothly, because what we can't create is more time.
That's right.
We cannot create more time. Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah. We can get
somebody figure that out.
Yeah, right. Wow. I would be millionaires. Okay. So tell us what your personality type is.
I am an ENFP, but I'm on the verge of an ENFJ.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. I would
say. So I'm
say.
a total introvert. So when I went
So you're an INFJ.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
INFJ. Sorry.
Yes.
I am not an extrovert.
No. I was like ENFJ. I was like, no, I don't think so. Okay. INFJ is with a small j. Like I have a capital J and you have probably a lowercase J.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So an INFJ, so introverted, likes to do one-on-one work, not super out there, not a ton on social media, really kind of relying on your list, intuitive. So big picture, creative, love walking into homes, seeing the big picture, being able to space plan and create and knock down walls and do this and move things here. Super, super, super visual.
Yep.
Make decisions primarily with your heart. So you're a feeler and you can feel into homes and feel into clients and really connect with them and create a home that's based on feelings and how it's going to feel.
Yes.
And then J is, you're pretty J. So organized and pretty decisive decision makers. Yet, the parts of your business, as almost all NFs, so all the listeners, likely the thousands. I just got my numbers back the other day, and I don't mean to freak you out, but I thought it was hundreds, and there's thousands of you listening. Thousands. So thank you. So I'm probably making you more nervous, but thousands of listeners. Most of you are NFs, just because we gravitate towards this. So we're intuitive feelers. So tell the listeners, when you first came to me, kind of where you were with your systems and structures and your team, and you were I'm not gonna lie,
she's a hot mess.
You were a bit of a mess, Sweepy. You were all over the place. You were
I'm a squirrel.
And so resisting me. Like, I don't want to hire. So tell us where you were with your kind of personality type, the things that you suck at, that you were trying to contain. So give the listeners some examples of like what that looked like, because I want to paint a picture for them.
Okay. Well, so because I'm an introvert, and I don't love social media, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's one of those evil musts, but for me, it's like just another thing to do and to put myself out there. And of course, right now, video is hot.
Yeah.
And so here I am on video, and nervous about that as well. But, so the fear of putting myself out there and being wrong, being judged, people not liking me. You want, as an introvert and a feeler, you just want everybody to be happy.
And everyone to like us.
And everybody to like me. And it's going to happen. It's not happening. So it's that fear. But, I didn't have my systems in place. I had a few systems, but I wasn't tracking my money well. I'd go in and out of tracking that well. And honestly being afraid to even look at the numbers, so I just didn't look at the numbers.
Let's pause there for a minute, because I actually forgot about this. So we don't spend a lot of time prepping, because I like this to really be off the cuff. So I don't prep my guests and my clients much. And this just came to me, because we didn't prep, I forgot about this. Within a few months of us working together, I do make people get clear about their money. What's going out? What's coming in? Where are your expendables? What's your P&L look like? Your profit and loss? Like, what's going on with that? Within a few months, you did what?
So within a few months, I ended up hiring.
I'm talking about the money. Didn't you become debt free?
Oh, that was just a few months ago.
Is that not it's worth talking about, because when you don't even know what the money is, you're not even clear. You don't know what's coming in. You don't know your debt. You don't understand the bottom number. I tell this story all the time, and I'm very transparent about the fact that I absolutely went into debt to build my business. I spent my first year in business, for sure, I spent 81%. Not normal. Wow. And I'm in a regrowth year. I'm very curious at the end of the year what will happen. But I spent 81% knowing that it was going to get me where I wanted to be. However, when I looked at that bottom number, and it was red, because I do have her do my personal stuff too, it was red. I will never forget the most freeing moment of going, that number is exactly what's on my credit card. That debt, and it justified it for me. It was validating. It was, okay, that whatever, I don't remember what the number was, but that number is exactly what's on my credit card. And now I know why. And there's some ownership to why I'm in debt, where I'm spending my money. But then for you, and I paid off debt years ago, but that feeling of knowing what your debt is, not putting blinders on. Where your money's coming in, what you're making, what your ROI is, and then you were able to pay off your debt.
Right. And we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I was able to pay off that debt because I hired people to work for me. So that did not register with me at all. And as many times as people have told me, Melinda, you're going to make more money. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm paying people, so I'm not going to be making more money. Like I was just seeing it as a break even, but the reason that I could pay off over $20,000 in debt within 2 months of hiring people, hello?
That is crazy. So let's just go there.
Crazy.
Let's just go there because this is the next
impossible.
This is the next amazing thing,
right?
And I have a saying that I stole from my coach years ago. What was once impossible is now easy. It's impossible to pay off $20,000 within 2 months. Amazing that I have $10,000 extra to pay things off. Yeah. What was once impossible is now easy in terms of being debt free or having a staff or having employees and being able to pay them. Mm-hmm. So what you just said, the listeners need to hear. It's a mindset thing. I can't afford to hire people. I can't afford to pay people. Tell everyone what happened.
So I realized that I needed help. Like I had too much work and I was not, it was a meeting with you, Jessica, where you were like, yeah, you aren't good at anything. You're not doing well.
So honest. Sorry.
It's true, but that's why I love her so much, just because she's honest. And it's not something it's something I had even thought about, but it's something about when you hear it from somebody else and you're like, oh yeah, crap. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I was doing okay from a design standpoint, but I knew I wasn't giving my clients the best of me. And I wasn't giving my business the best of me. I was kind of half-assing it. And because that's as much energy as I had to give, when you are pulled in all of these different directions of serving the clients, pulling together the documents that you need for their house, meeting with contractors, marketing, keeping your processes up, and paying your bills, sending out bills.
Again, 80%, you said. 80%. Not to mention also caring for yourself as a human being and a woman being a wife to your husband. I mean, there's other things, and being a friend.
I wasn't any good at any of those either.
Right.
I didn't have time for anything.
Yeah.
And I finally Melinda, if you're going to do this, if you're going to keep doing this, you can't keep on this path.
Yeah.
And so I went out, I knew that I didn't at the time want somebody in my office right then because I am a loner. I love my own space. It's that's my Zen place and where I can actually accomplish something. So I hired some people from Upwork, which is a site where you can put out a proposal of what you're looking for and you get proposals back. They send you their resume, whatever you've asked for, letter of recommendation or whatever. And I found a couple people on there that could help me do my AutoCAD for my design. And I'm like, that's one thing I can give away easily, even though I love it. But right now I knew I just needed to let it go because I had to focus on the business. I knew that I wanted to keep my income coming up and I wanted to keep it going up, that I needed to hire some people to help me. And once I can do that, then I can find out, what do I want to do as a business owner? Yes. So I know I need to run the business, but what do I want to do from the design standpoint? Because I don't want to give that up. There's pieces of that I love, and I know what I'm going to be getting back to when I get to that place where I get more systems in place. Because the one thing that you'll find out when you do hire people finally is there's some cracks. And that
in your own systems,
in
your
my own
work.
systems,
yes,
how you tell people how you want something. It's like, I hadn't thought about what I wanted my document to look like. I've got to provide all that information. So there's cracks there, but the biggest crack was recently, back, what was a month and a half ago, my husband collapsed and went into cardiac arrest. And that rocked my world. It was like, wow, I have this person here. I don't know if he's going to make it. Whew. And if he doesn't make it, how am I going to make it? If he makes it, is he the same person? Mm-hmm. How will that affect my business? Luckily and thankfully, he is well and alive and doing great and recovering. But that rocked my business, and that's when having people and systems in place is so key. And, everybody says, be prepared, have so much money in savings, have people in place that can do work for you while you can't work. And we never think it's going to happen to us. We think we're going to get prepared. And I wasn't prepared enough, but thank God I had paid off debt.
Yes.
Because I would be incurring more debt.
Yes.
And I am incurring debt. But the positive thing is that I did it once and I can do it again. And I know I can do it quickly. Mm-hmm. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to keep the people working. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get more projects in there. I can feed the work to those people, and I can bill out their time and then some, and make money on having people work for me.
Thank you for sharing that story. And I was going to leave it up to you whether or not you decided. I think a lot of sometimes blessings come out of horrible situations like that. And I think there was 3, hopefully main things. Well, 4. 1, it makes you realize how much you love your husband.
That's right.
Which I think is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Secondly is you did have a support system. I know myself, and I'm assuming others in the group. There's another woman in the Lady Boss group that you're in a mastermind with who lost her husband, unfortunately, very tragically and suddenly.
She was on my mind when I was going through this, for sure. Like, okay, well, she can do it. Yeah. If this happens to me, I'll be okay too.
And having some support. And yes, we have friends, but there's also something about people who get what we're going through. And so I felt like that was part of it too, is you have this somewhat built-in support. The next is the debt thing. I mean, that was... you and I, the very first session, I think, or even while we were texting back and forth, had one of those conversations of like, thank God you had done that so that this didn't feel so financially catastrophic, and it can just be emotionally catastrophic. And then the last one is what you said is we never want to think about getting sick or our husband getting sick or whatever, but having systems and people that can help us run our businesses if and when, unfortunately, something catastrophic. Like, I mean, my body just shut down last week. I mean, just little stupid things about, like, I just shut down, and yet think Stephanie and, the top progress coaches and people are still doing things. And in those couple of weeks where you got to just solely be with your husband, there is still some semblance of things getting done. And then you really taking the time that you needed to get yourself back up and running, and things did not fall apart, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fell apart.
As you should have.
A little bit, but and it gave me some additional insight into areas where I still need to shore up people in my business.
Yes.
Because there's still a level that, like, I don't have anybody who can do client interaction. It's all me. And frankly, in the past month and a half, I have not been available. I can't even, I could barely get up in the morning and function for an hour, and I needed a nap. Yeah. So, and I had to honor that.
Yes, because, you do.
I just, there was no way I could push through it. I could sit in front of my computer, but I was accomplishing nothing.
Aren't life lessons just so bizarre? I mean, now that you're on the other side of it and he's recovering and you guys are doing well, there is this sense of like, wow, what an unbelievable lesson that I was just given around my business and what I need and what's important and where I want to spend my time, and caring for your own vessel. Melinda, taking care of you as the support person for your husband. And I'm not saying his name because I don't want to be disrespectful there, but I find things like that fascinating. And as business owners, we really do have another level of that because we don't get sick time and we don't get vacation time and we don't have coworkers per se that can like pick up and check our email. Like it's on us.
Yeah.
And so having those kinds of people in our back pocket are critical. Are critical.
Yeah.
So tell us, Melinda, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
I want to cover two really important main things, certainly before we close up, is I want to know how you decided, and I know the answer to this because I'm your coach, but I want you to share with the listeners how you decided what to outsource based on your personality type, based on your level of overwhelmness. Tell the listeners, because I think that's one of the biggest questions is, and I will teach people this in Girl Boss and Lady Boss, who to hire and when, but a lot of it is based off of your zone of genius, your backseat, like the things that you suck at. So it's understanding I'm an INFJ and knowing that I know that I'm going to really suck at these details and all these little teeny tiny things. What are the things that are bogging down my current process that I'm procrastinating? So tell the listeners how you figured out what to outsource.
Well, a couple things. So I knew that I could give my AutoCAD work away and I could still be involved in the space planning, but people from Upwork doing my AutoCAD could do the first round.
And so us layman's people don't even know what AutoCAD is. So just very quickly, what is AutoCAD?
It's a computer space planning program.
And
so it creates floor plans.
And on that note, I want to say any of the listeners are like, oh, my work is too specific. No one on Upwork's going to be able to know. I didn't even know what the frick AutoCAD, you guys don't even know what that means. We don't even. So you typed in AutoCAD and someone responded, yep, I know how to use this.
I put out a proposal. I said, I am
amazing.
looking for somebody to do AutoCAD. I want somebody who is better than I am. That was the biggest piece is that I'm like, I want somebody who knows more than I do.
And so as you're going through this about what to outsource, I want people to remember that even something that specific in your industry that the layman's person has never heard of before, you were able to type that in and get that help.
Oh yeah, tons.
Okay, so keep going. So how else did you figure out how to outsource?
Well, I also knew that my inbox was out of control.
Hi, your sister.
So I hired a virtual assistant. She's down in California. And so she goes through my email every day and,
hallelujah,
and flags what's important because I could get lost on email. I don't want to do space planning today. I'll just check my email 500 times.
Or for those of us who are into social media, that's my version of it. I mean, people don't even email me anymore, but it's the social media stuff, and we can analysis paralysis is what's that called? That's what that's
and then
called.
The other piece is hiring out for somebody to do my social media posting.
Awesome.
Because I can create the posts. I know what I want to post, but I don't want to be involved in scheduling it.
Right.
Like, those are just details that I don't need to be mired down and bogged down in.
And I love your language, you sassy pants. I love that you're I don't need it to be held down and mired down by that. And I love that is your new, when we first met, that was not your attitude.
No, I was going to do it all.
And now you get to say, I don't need to be bogged down, because what is your zone of genius, Melinda?
Because my zone of genius is space planning for my clients, of creating a more functional, useful, and beautiful space for them. It's not posting on social media. It's not checking all the emails, and 90% of them mean nothing. I don't even need half of them.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Mic drop. But this is what people do. They don't know what their front seat is. So know your front seat and your zone of genius, which are very similar concepts, quite honestly, because you understand your personality type and you really sat down and realized this is where not only I'm the happiest, but then here's the next question, is the return on investment. Yeah. You can make so much more money when you're spending your precious, valuable time doing the shit you're awesome at.
Okay, we'll get this. So so the first month that I had hired people from Upwork and my virtual assistant, I I was getting ready to bill that month, and I hadn't tracked all the hours yet. And so in my mind, I was thinking, I'm going to let these people from Upwork go because I don't really need them anymore.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, oh, I'm paying them all this money. And this is crazy. I can just do this for myself, right? So I've created all those thoughts in my head. This was before I even knew how much I was going to bill that month. So my typical billings might be 50, 60 hours. That first month, I billed 115 hours.
Dude.
And I was like,
more than double.
Oh, so I make money by paying people to hire me.
We're done. Goodbye. Thank you for listening, everybody. She's just proven my point.
Yeah.
How powerful. I mean,
and the second month was the same way. It was more.
What did you do in that moment? Let's backtrack because that is a powerful moment. Oh, I'm going to get rid of these people. They're not all that helpful. You sit down, you do the detail, which is a lady boss, girl boss, very CEO thing to do.
Yep.
Like get fucking real about your numbers. I'm sorry. Get real about your numbers. So you sit down and you realize, holy geez Louise, I literally doubled my billing hours. You made twice as much money.
Yeah. I was shocked. I'm still in shock. I'm like, really? Is that true? Did I calculate that correctly? I did go back and double check my numbers.
I bet you did, but then you did it the next month and it was still 115
and it was still higher.
Yes.
And it was still higher. And that's when it clicked. As many times as people have told me, it's like, that's the growth of business. That is where you start to scale your business. I didn't get it. I honestly didn't get it. And you could have told me, spend another month, 2-3 months explaining it to me. And until I saw it for myself, I didn't believe it would be possible.
Okay, let's go there. What got you to stop just listening to me and actually do it? Because what you're talking about is powerful. It's that leverage. Mm-hmm. Everyone's scared. Everyone listening is scared. Most of my clients continue to be scared. And I'll be honest, I mean, it's a percentage and I've been doing this a very long time and I watch the percentage and quite honestly, it's about 50-50. 50% stay in the stuck fear place. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And 50% just say, fuck it. I'm going to test this out and see what happens. What got you from that? I got to just do it.
I was tapped out and it was our conversation about my clients aren't getting the best of me. I'm not doing my best design work.
Didn't I?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, that was the piece of like, oh yeah, I'm not serving myself. I'm not serving my family, my husband, my animals. I'm not serving my clients well. Wow. I'm getting by. I'm skating along. And I don't want to do that anymore. And so I'm like, I have to let go of some of this or I am going to go crazy because it was too much for me to handle.
It's actually making me tear
too
up.
Much work. Yeah.
Because I think I know I've been there, but I watch client after client after client and I will lovingly push you hard. But it is that moment where you're just exhausted. I like to think of it as it's a little bit like AA-ish. So I was in Al-Anon for many years because Brian was an addict. And they say the pain of what you're doing now is greater than the pain of the fear of the change.
Yeah.
And I think every entrepreneur gets to that spot in their business where this pain of being a martyr, being a persecutor, being a victim, being stuck, giving everything in my life 10%, not doing anything all that great. The pain of this is greater than the pain of trying to do something different. Mm-hmm. It's powerful.
It is powerful. And because when my husband had his cardiac arrest, that's when it really struck me of what that stress could have done to me. He realized how much stress was impacting him and that stress of making the money come in and doing the work and feeding the clients and feeding the beast basically. Oh. And what stress will do to us and it will kill us. It will kill us. And, both my husband and I have made a commitment to, we're not going to go down that road.
Awesome.
And so, I'm thinking about how how much do I want to grow my business?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still will always have people helping me. And do I still want to scale it, but just have more people doing more of the work and me doing less of it and just managing behind the scenes or just doing the space planning part of it that I love the most and, or just sourcing out and just doing space planning and forgetting all the schmucky details when it comes to design. That's the one thing that I know that I'm still lacking in my business is somebody that's going to take care of all the minutiae of details, because as an INFJ, details are not my forte. My detail is space planning, but, you know, putting all together all the specifications for the contractor and the client and the making sure all the, you know, parts and pieces are on the plans is not my forte. And so I still need somebody to do that for me. But and that's but not wanting to go down that road of stress.
And that's the next level. I think for every entrepreneur at some point in our life, yes, new level. And as we age and grow and mature and want different things in our lives and have different seasons, that is a question that we all have to ask ourselves is, when is enough enough? And I think that's the beauty of asking ourselves that at any time. And I do think that's the next stage for you. You know, as we kind of wrap up a year of working together, it becomes this next stage of, okay, what's next?
Well, and that's why I love being an entrepreneur, is that I get to, I can make less if I want to make less, and I get to make more if I want to make more. But if I'm stuck working for somebody, I'm limited within what they're willing to pay me and how many hours they want me to work. And you get to do it differently. And it's exciting, it's fun, and it isn't easy.
And I think we'll end on this. You sharing your personal story and the stress and that it could have happened to you, all of this and just the business stuff. I mean, I think this episode would have been powerful enough when it's just talking about getting your business to run smoothly. But when you add in the fact that this stress, that it was a choice. Because then you realize...
I dived into business. I avoided everything, you know. It was... I wanted my business to grow, and so I spent all of my time there, not with family and friends and, you know.
Wow.
So it was an escape on some level.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say it's, you know, it's one of the biggest affairs out there is our relationship with our work.
Well, gosh, you could spend, you know, you can spend 24/7 doing it.
Yeah.
You really could.
Yeah, especially
but
as
it's
an
not the
entrepreneur.
smartest thing to do.
Yeah. All right. So tell the listeners in closing, and again, this is always putting people on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
What has hiring people into your business, learning how to run smoothly, learning you don't have to do everything, learning, you know, having a mastermind, but more particularly about hiring people into your business. So not only have you almost doubled what you're making, tell us just in closing, the takeaway that all of that has brought to your life, your relationship, your relationship with yourself as a woman, and what it's done for your business, and how you see probably the future of your business.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's given me a lot of freedom because it's taken the pressure off of it all has to be me or it won't be good enough, and realizing that I probably wasn't very good at 90% of it, really. And that hiring somebody else, I look even better.
Yeah. Wow.
I look better. I look smarter and more put together by hiring people to do it for me. I think that's the most powerful thing. And then knowing that it is about finding the right person, you know, and I think that was a piece of what held me back is that, well, I'm never going to find the right person. But when you do sync up with people, and it may take you some time you might have to go through a few people on Upwork or whatever other sites there. I know there's several other sites that you can find people on. So you might have to go through some bad apples, but you'll get stronger because you'll just have more clarity knowing what wasn't right. You know, so we always learn something from, even if it wasn't the perfect situation.
Yeah. And they can provide insights as well.
And I can let them go and I don't have to feel guilty about it. Like, thanks. That was great work. That was great, but it wasn't right for me. And bye-bye. They're not on my payroll.
Yeah.
I don't have that pressure. Yeah. And they know that going into it. I mean, the other risk of that as well is that, they may find another job and you may lose them, but you would have that with an employee.
And it does take a while to build. I tell, all my clients this, it takes a while to build a really successful, trusting relationship. Mm-hmm. So one more question in closing. This just struck me.
Okay. Well, one thing before you ask me that, I would say the other thing is hire and be comfortable enough to hire somebody who can do it better than you can and know that is okay. That's the hardest part is, shoot, somebody's better at this design thing than me. Mm-hmm. But then it frees you up to do your zone of genius. Exactly. Yeah.
That's very, very powerful.
That would be the biggest thing, I think, that was the takeaway of be okay. Be okay that somebody is better than you are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That takes a lot of confidence. Okay. Very, very last question, and it should be a quick one. I want to know how you feel different about yourself as a woman and an entrepreneur 10 months later than you felt when we first started working together.
Yeah. Wow. Huge. I feel more in control. Even though I'm letting go of some of the control, which is kind of weird. Mm-hmm. I feel more powerful. I feel freer, lighter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And that vision of myself of being bigger, that is always there. So yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for being such an amazing client this year. Thank you for sharing your story with us, for your vulnerability, for leaping, for turning into a friend. So thank you for all
it's been a great year. It's not over yet. And there's a lot more to come and I'm excited for that. And I appreciate you and your, ability, willingness to push, even when it's hard, when I don't want to hear it. And also for the other group of women that we just keep raising each other up. Yeah. And the other thing I would say about that group, the Quarterlys that we do, is that you learn things that you don't think you need to learn. Like, for example, our last Quarterly was about launching. And I'm like, I don't need to know how to launch. I'm not launching a book. I'm not launching a podcast. I'm not launching whatever. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, Melinda. How could you use some of these principles in still launching some of your social media stuff? And so you get to learn things that you don't think you necessarily need when you're working with another group of women who are pushing themselves. And maybe I'll launch a book in a couple of years.
Yeah! Woohoo! Okay, you're welcome.
Who knows? Yeah.
You're welcome. And Melinda will be at the Front Seat Life event. She's a total lady boss. She will be there September 20th and 21st. So if anybody's listening and you want to come and play, I think that's a big part of it is just the magnificent high level women that will be there as well.
And even if you're an introvert, still come because when I first showed up at the Front Seat Life event, I was like, I'm an introvert. I didn't know anybody. I was like, I think I want to leave.
And now look how far you've come. And you have these amazing friends in this.
Yeah. And I'm actually coming to the second Front Seat Life event. So that tells you something.
Awesome. All right. Oh my God, Melinda. We almost finished without asking how people can frickin' find you.
Oh, right. So I have a website. It's SlaterInteriors.com. What is my website?
SlaterInteriors.com.
SlaterInteriors.com, Melinda Slater. And I've got Instagram, Slater Interiors Instagram account, and Facebook, and LinkedIn, because I do a little bit of commercial work as well as residential work.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye. All right, everybody, I have a confession to make. I have a new obsession, and that obsession is reading your ridiculously wonderful, loving, amazing reviews on iTunes. I love them. None of this even matters without all of you. So as a thank you, each week I will be reading one review on air and calling out your review with your name or your iTunes handle. So here's how it's going to go. You're going to go to Instagram and follow me at Front Seat Life. When you hear your name called out on the podcast, you are going to send me a DM with your address and say, "Oh my gosh, you just read my review." And I or my team will be sending you some Front Seat Life swag. We've got books and we've got tank tops and we've got journals and we have these adorable pink swells. So we will be choosing from the goodie bag and sending it out as a thank you. So thank you in advance. And I am so deeply honored to have the opportunity to thank you back. Today's review comes from Grow, Transform, and Inspire. And this wonderful, wonderful person gave me a 5-star review over on iTunes on July 27th. And she writes, this is quite a compliment because there's a lot of amazing podcasts out there. And she writes, "My favorite podcast ever." Wow. Again, quite the compliment there. And this person writes, "So happy I found Jessica. I binge listened to most of the episodes. Love, love, love her message. It's as if she's speaking directly to me. As someone in the process of transitioning from a job I grew out of to a new career path, Jessica is just the inspiration I was looking for. I look forward to every episode. Please keep doing this important work of changing people's lives." I am not going anywhere, so I promise to continue to do so. And thank you so much for the review. From the bottom of my heart, truly, thank you so much for listening. I know that you have a ton of options, and the fact that you are taking time to listen to the Front Seat Life podcast means absolutely everything to me. If you're interested in learning more about the Front Seat Life way of life in the community, there's a couple ways that you can do that. First is always starting with your personality assessment tool. It's available on my website at jessicabutts.com. It's totally free, and it will help you figure out your personality type so you'll have some idea of what we're talking about. Next is, if you're interested in hiring me for a keynote or some coaching or strategy days or the fabulous and amazing Front Seat Life community, you can find out all about all of that at jessicabutts.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.